What the hell, man? Okay, I think it's working now. I think it's working now. Hi. Hello. Hello, welcome. Welcome and hello. And greetings. Yeah, for some reason it was people who don't use OBS don't know, but you have to do it did this last week too, or maybe Tuesday, I can't remember. But yeah, it did a thing, and it was being stupid, and it didn't do the go button. Hello. Who we got? We got Bow and Arrows. Hello, welcome. Welcome Leo and Ray and Pandy and Linry and Sanyo. Who else we got? Ooh, we got Dame. Hello. If you're not 30 minutes early, you're late. Shake my head. Terrible. Ray, I don't know if I already said hello to you. I think I did. It is rude, I agree. Hey, Sassy. And hello, Holly. Happy Thursday, everybody. I have a cat. I have a Dodgers. We got a Dodgers sleeping over there in the window. Well, not sleeping now because I started talking. She's like, Mom, shut the fuck up so I can sleep. You need to make some tea. Well, hello. Make some tea. Oh, we got an itch. Everybody hold up. Okay, I think we got it. All right, back to sleep. Good stuff. We needed some serious snuggle time. That's the wrong one. We needed some serious snuggle time today, so I'm like completely covered in fur again. Like, it's become a thing now when she sees me setting up for stream. If I'm like sitting here and I'm not already actively painting my nails, she immediately wants to come over and like get up and do a whole cuddle thing. And so I have to like recline the chair way back and do like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It is adorable. I started putting cabochons on 2 of the cremes that I pulled for tonight because I didn't have cabs on them already. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish that while I'm thinking about it, so that these cabs aren't just like sitting on my desk taking up space. How do you like them apples? Yeah, it's becoming a pre-stream ritual, exactly. Hello, Melissa P. Hello, Yanelli. Welcome. I broke a nail today. So that's number 1, my thumbnail here. And it cracked so cleanly. I was like, for a minute, I was sitting there debating. I was in the car. I was like, it snapped clean off. And the tip was like in my hand. I was like, do I just glue this thing back on and go through that whole goddamn process again? But I'm just so tired of like nursing specifically that thumb, because literally, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, I finally took the last bit of the old patch off from the previous break. And I was just like, man, I'm just gonna leave it. Fuck it. It's fine. And if any of the brands that I swatch for have a problem with my thumb being a different length and shape than the rest of my nails, then they can just avoid using the photos that I send that actually show that, because they don't all even make that obvious. A lot of the photos that I send, you can't really tell. You can't even see the thumb in a lot of them. So, yeah, it was just real annoying. It's just real annoying. I was like, man, I literally just finished growing this fucker out. All right, there we go. We got cabs on those 2. I'm very slowly, a little bit at a time, trying to actually, put cabochons on at least the ones that live in drawers. I've got a bunch that live on shelves, although I'm going to have to rearrange because currently of the shelving on my wall, half of it, or like in the corner, half of it is Arcana and the other half is BCB. But BCB puts out collections much more regularly, or not really collections, but like she puts out polish more regularly. And so I'm constantly adding to the BCB. And with Arcana, it's like, it's usually just PPU and HHC, and then they'll do every couple months or every like 2 or 3 months, they'll do a collection. So I end up, the BCB is starting to take over. So I'm going to have to do a full rearrangement and either just like give the whole corner shelf to BCB and put all the Arcana in drawers, or I don't know, something else. Maybe vice versa, put all the BCB in drawers. I don't know, man, it's too much. I have too much polish. I need to get rid of some polish. Yeah, BCB does put out. That's true. That's true. And I'm telling Brittany that you said that. She'll appreciate it, actually. You have your left hand as total nubs and your right hand is starting to grow it again, which is nice. Yeah. It is nice when they get enough length for you to do stuff with, if you're a person who likes to do nail art and stuff. Hope everyone is having a good day besides broken nails. Yeah. Yeah, Linry. And when you've got PR coming in from multiple brands fairly regularly, it really does, like, it takes up your space really quickly. And yeah, first world swatcher problems for sure. This is not really a complaint. Like, it's nice that I have all this nail polish, but also it's like, you do have to deal with it, right? Like, it is a thing. You've got to find a way to cope with, which for most of us means that at some point you just start destashing massive amounts of it, unless you're Nicole, and then you just hoard it all, which, you know, I get it. But this room also has to be a guest room, so it can't completely get taken over with shelving and drawers. Yeah, a burden is still a burden, even when it's a delightful burden that you're happy to have. So I had an idea for tonight. My lobster is too buttery and my steak is too juicy. Yeah, exactly. Belly and Linry at the same time. That was really good. So let me show you the inspo for tonight, okay? I have inspo. I think it's real cute. And it is a Smaugust inspired thing. Hang on, where are we? I know I had it open already. There it is. Okay. So this is by, hold up. Let me just move. Nope, not that. Don't move that. Thank you. It is by Millie B Doodles on Instagram. So the handle for the artist is on the top there. And we're specifically going to be looking at these dragon ones at the bottom here. So let me just, can I do this? Is it this way? No, is it this one? It's that one. There we go. So it's specifically these guys along the bottom that we're going to be looking at. That bottom row of dragons. And I think I want to, like, not necessarily fully recreate, but kind of take inspiration from, I don't know if I'm going to end up doing like the full dragon on one nail. That feels like it might be a bit of a challenge. Although the one that's like the S shape, I think could maybe work. I don't know. We'll see what happens as we go along. I definitely want the head close up in one. I love the colors, this like almost coralish color and the teal. I love these colors together. It's just a real cute little guy. And yeah, I love the derpy little claws and the derpy little eyes and the derpy little everything. It makes me really happy. So this is what I decided I wanted to do for tonight. So I will stick this in the corner. I think I'm gonna like Shrink that down and move it over here. There we go. So you still have, actually, I could, well, no, that's going to be more of a challenge. Put it over there. That should be okay. You didn't fully see the claws. They're also delightfully derpy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I love this color palette. So I have like, obviously we're going to be doing some mixing, some blending. I have these three that I think are going to work well for the teal, turquoise, and then like the flame is kind of slightly greener than the dragon. And then the body of the dragon, I don't have quite the exact right color. So I think I'm going to have to blend two here to get the right color, and then add white from there to sort of, to lighten it up for the different values that we have there. But I think that's what we're going to be doing. So two of these are BCBs that I received in PR, so disclaimer for that. The rest are Holo Tacos, which I purchased. I don't have any relationship with Holo Taco. We are also going to be using black and white from Monarch. The black one was gifted and the white one I purchased. But I do work with Monarch. So that's my disclaimers. And hang on. I'll put this off to the side as well, because a couple of the things are product received for swatching. So that's getting real scratched up. I'm going to have to get a new one. I do have one melon followers, but it's not quite right either. So where is, it's the right tone, but it's not dark enough. It's correct for the lighter, but it's too light for the darker. So, I mean, I could use this in conjunction with the other two to like darken it up a little bit. But yeah, it's not, I looked at that and it was not the right tone either. Can I help you figure out something? I don't know, maybe. I guess I can try. I'm also going to be doing strawberry soy milk from Dimensions, which no longer exists, Dimension Nails, which no longer exists, as my base, because I sort of thought about like whether I wanted to do a creme base or not, and I decided that I wasn't going to be happy with any creme that I chose, because white will be too stark, butter will be too buttery, linen is also a little too white. All the ones that I have weren't gonna quite make me happy, so I'm gonna do this instead. You should post your husband's favorite pic of you in Discord. You were wearing a cone of shame and having floppy hands. Aw. Aw. All right, so yeah, go ahead and DM me, Sassy. I'm gonna do one coat for sure. I might do a second coat of this. I feel like one is probably gonna be enough, because I don't really necessarily need it to be like, I mean, it's not gonna be opaque, but I don't know that I necessarily really care if the base is opaque. I feel like it's okay if it's just like kind of a semi-nude look, because it's not gonna be, there's not going to be a huge amount of the background on any of these, right? So I feel like there's like a little clump there. Get off of that. I feel like I'm good with just sort of slightly evening out the color and calling it a day as far as the background's concerned. Okay. I think there's a hair in there. Is there a hair in there? Is that a hair? Is that a tiny little lint? What is going on there? Fuck. Well, I don't see it now. So I don't know if I got rid of it or not. Oh, there's definitely a hair on that one, though. Fucking cat hair, man. It gets everywhere. Always. Okay. What if you put random cartoon clouds? I could. I don't know. I feel like that might end up being too busy with the design. I don't know. It feels like it could end up being too busy. Because I think most of these designs are going to pretty much take up the whole background. Puffs of the smoke breath. Yeah, that could actually work. Maybe. Maybe. Well, that can be the kind of thing that, like, if I decide to add it after, like, after we have the main design done. They're gonna cover most of the nail, I think, as is. So they are very cute dragons, Sanyo. I really like them. Yeah, everything this artist does is insanely cute. What's their name again? Millie B Doodles. MILLIEBEE Doodles. Oh boy. I'm just going to go ahead and type that in chat. How about that? Millie B Doodles on Instagram. There we go. I have typed it in chat. And if someone reminds me, I will put the info in the caption when I edit later. I've started doing this thing where I go back in after the VOD is posted and I change the title and the thumbnail and the the whatever, we'll just call it the thumbnail of the VOD, and then like put a little bit of info in the caption so that if you're looking for a specific nail art again at some point in time, you can easily find it. I know, genius, right? Really should have been doing that all along. Instead, there I was on Instagram being like, yeah, if you want to watch how I did this, you can go watch the VOD. And there's no way to tell which VOD it is because they're all like, half of my streams are like just another nail art stream with absolutely no info. Now they all have info. Also, I don't know if y'all saw our first, well, I say first, I have done shorts before on YouTube, but this is the new first time we're doing shorts from a live stream. That Kat did the edit on it, and I got it posted, and I think it's very silly. So take those reels and upload them as shorts. Yeah, I just need to. It's work. It's so much work, Kat. It's so much work. Need to go back over some of those old VODs and do that. But I figure what we can just do is like work backwards in time. Just like, slowly go through them. It also sucks that like in order to find those things, you have to be willing to like listen to your own ass talking for 2 hours. And yeah, you can do fast scrubbies or whatever, but like to find the good spots, you have to be willing to like literally just have yourself on in a way that isn't so much background that you're tuning yourself out. And that's a challenge for me. Okay, I'm gonna make this. I think I'm actually gonna do a little adjustment here because I want to make it so that I'm looking at one at a time. Can I do a little zoomy? I'm gonna start with this one. Don't worry, I'll fix that for you. Can we do like this and then this? Okay, we'll get the whole thing in frame for me, and then we will don't worry, I'm gonna make it so you can see basically what I'm looking at. Okay, we're good. Now you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, editing yourself is the worst. Do you chop your whole hand because you're sick of fixing your broken index nail and your thumb is already short, or do you patch it again so you at least have 4 long fingernails for strategic posing? That is always such a challenge. I always have trouble with that. Your peely from yesterday's mani already popped, so you gotta paint. Oh no. Yeah, if it's below the nail line, there's no question. I will always patch. Or if it's like real close to the nail line, I'll typically patch. But it does, the math gets a little different the longer the nail is. It's just like and the closer it is to the length of the other nails, the math really changes. I think I'm gonna start with just roughing in the shape with this middle turquoisey color. And I think this one's gonna have to be on my middle nail. Although, yeah, actually, this one might work well on my thumb. Yeah, this one might work well on my thumb. Okay, so the general kind of shape is like a woof, like so. So the nose tip is going to go, we're going to have like some wooglies, nose tip down here. Don't want to go too low because that'll be a problem. Probably should have put a top coat on here before I started this, but whatever. Y'all know. I always mean to do it, and about half the time I don't do it, and I always regret it when I don't. But that's how we roll here. Okay, I think that's like kind of the shape of the inside curve there. And then this goes like this away and straight, and then like kind of comes out here. And then we have those horns. This is going to be way up here, right? Which means the horns actually are going to be higher up, but that's okay. Y'all know this part of the process is always just a little bit chaos. Or you should know by now. If you don't know me by now. That was too short. That snout is too short. My snout is too short. My snout is too short. And if anybody here doesn't know that reference, then you are dead to me. Not actually, but we will need to educate you. You posted the cone of shame madness in the nonsense thread on Discord. Top coats are for cowards. Yeah, you think everything is for cowards, though. Including very sensible things. All right. I knew that some of you at least would know the reference, but if anyone here doesn't, please contact an internet adult who can show you the wonders. You do need to watch the entire film. It's not long. Okay, I think that's about the right shape overall. It feels pretty close. You think that one made it in the old video roundup your brother-in-law and you did a couple of years ago? It's a good one. It's a good one to have in a roundup. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is start bringing in the... Wait, should I do that? I shouldn't, should I? I should actually start... Well, maybe... No, you know what? I think it'll be fine. We'll start in with the darker teal now. We'll worry about the coral tones afterward. Okay, so the darkest teal is going to be sort of in these shadows here along the bottom. A little bit in this sort of snout area. Gonna have to do some blending. We love blending here. Jammy Dodgers is snoring ever so quietly in the window. She heard me talking about her and she stopped. All right, and then this, we have this like little, that's going to be where the eye is, right about there. So the eye will be here. We'll get the shadow around the eye. It is a large eye. I may have made it slightly too large, but I feel that we can fix that as we go along. Okay. And then we have the ear, which is kind of like here-ish. Looks like it starts out from here, goes kind of up, doesn't quite reach the top. does that. And then has like a little that thing, which is where the horns start. And the horns are basically all this color. So we have this horn, which is going to come way up. And then the second horn starts back here. And there's also going to be a little coral hair horn whatever thing in between. Jammy Dodgers alert. Hang on. She's doing a snorkel. There we go. Yep, some sneezes. You're trying to reorganize your Helmers. You're overwhelmed. Someone who understands colors come help you. Here's the problem, Danny. We work with shifty bitches. And I don't mean humans. Like, it's kind of easy when it's crumbs. But as soon as you put any kind of like shifting shimmer or multichrome or magnetic or like anything like that, it immediately gets so freaking complicated. Yeah, you can't. You can't. There's no way to do it. You just have to do your best. And sometimes your best is just going to be meh. Good enough for now. I think one thing for me is like to just like make a decision about what the categories are going to be and then stick with it no matter how stupid that means it gets. Which may or may not be the best strategy. But like if I decide that that I'm dividing into green and blue, and everything has to go into either green or blue, including like all your teals and stuff, then I have to stick with that no matter how in between it is. And I just make the rule and then I stick with the fucking rule. Now, I would personally never do that specific one because teal is a very important category for me. Teal / turquoise / cyan is its own category for me. But you just gotta make up your mind and stick with it and hope that you don't regret it too much later on. Even though you probably will. Oh, I freaking made such a mess right there. Yeah, I don't personally organize by color for the most part. I organize by brand. That's it. Everything else is just chaos. But I used to have, when I was keeping a notebook, I did have the swatches organized by color. And that was a bit challenging. And sometimes I did end up putting things in more than one color. Which I think is part of the reason why I would never organize my bottles by color, because too many things fit in more than one color. So to me, that just doesn't make sense. Okay. And then my husband has more than once found me crying in my bedroom, usually while hormonal, yelling, "What fucking color are you, though?" It's annoying because I sort of polish into a drawer one day, and then when I take it out for nail art, it gets put in a different drawer. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And this is why I would never go by color, because it's not an objective system. It's not, you can't just neatly categorize. And that to me makes it useless for that. It's just a little bit lighter than I want it to be. There we go. All right. I think we might be doing it so far. I'm not mad yet, so that's a good sign. You also don't organize by color because you hate when bottles don't fit together because they're all freaking different. Yeah. The name of this artist is Millie B. Millie B. What the hell is it? Hang on. Millie B. Doodles. There it is. It's up on the screen. Millie B. Doodles. This is on Instagram. Okay, I'm going to scroll back. There we are. You organize your swatches by color, but not your polishes? Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. If I had some kind of swatch organization, which I have attempted to do at various times, that would totally be by color, because that makes sense to me. But organizing bottles by color, absolutely the fuck not. That would never work. Someone remind me later to add the artist's name to the caption of the VOD once that's up, and I can edit it. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that so far. Now let's make a lighter version of this color. Shelves dedicated to brands, and then attempt to arrange by collection in rainbow order. If you didn't get the collection, they go in the general brand rainbow. It works until it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, at one point in time, I definitely had a system similar to that because my collection was mostly Holo Taco at one point. And of course, you know, I had the rainbow collections. And so I had the rainbow collections by themselves isolated out. And then it kind of made sense to sort of start slotting in other things around them in a rainbowy kind of way. But then, yeah, Holo Taco is now a fairly small proportion of my collection, so it doesn't. I still have in my Holo Taco drawer. I still have the collections together, but for my other brands, I don't necessarily have the collections sorted together. Certainly when I'm finished swatching a collection, they will go onto the shelf together or into the drawer together. If it's a collection that I have swatched. But over time, as I pull stuff and put it back, they get de-collectioned and just sort of start to become part of the chaos of that brand. And so it's like, well, some of them are sort of the newer the collection is, the more likely it is to be roughly together with its own collection mates. But that's about as good as it gets. All right. Got this, like... I'm gonna need to loosen this up real soon. It's starting to get a little thick. And yes, every time I say a little thick, I get that thing from Nicole's videos immediately in my head. As I assume most of us do. Okay. I feel like this is supposed to be more like kind of in between here-ish. Oh, we're so stringy. We're so stringy. Why did I allow it to get that stringy? Because I am a ding-dang fool. That is why. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Najwa. I think it has to, the way you organize your collection has to flow from the way you pick polish from your collection. The way that you like think about how you're going to choose polishes is really, it needs to be the first thing, the first factor. So if you're a person that's like, I want to use a color, I'm looking for something in this sort of particular color, then maybe it makes sense to organize at least certainly your swatch sticks, if you have such a thing, or perhaps your bottles that way. But if you're like me, and you can't make your brain do any of that, then you just have to suffer. And that's all there is to it. Just have to suffer. I feel like we got slightly too light in this range, and I need to bring back some of the a little bit darker, and then also some of the raw color. Just gonna blend that in. Which means I also need to blend in more of the dark, although I could just bring I guess the dark really doesn't need to come up that far. Blendy, 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 blendy. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. That's a little better. Okay. That works. All right. Nail art definitely makes it harder to decide how you organize. Yeah. For some of my polishes, I know spatially exactly where they are. For others, I definitely don't. It really depends. I would say that like the ones that I am least able to keep straight in my head, the exact location, are actually the BCB and Arcana ones on the shelves. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there's just so many more of them. There's just so many more of them than there are anything else. So it's inherently a challenge to remember them are all. There's like at least 400 just between those two brands on those shelves. So, yeah. Little challenging. Yeah, and coming in volume rather than in a curated way definitely does make a difference. I do kind of have all of like my my BCB neons together, so that helps a little bit, at least if I'm looking for a neon. Doesn't help as much when I'm looking for a non-neon, but it helps when I'm looking for a neon. And they also have on their caps, they say if they are a topper or a magnetic or whatever. So that also helps. Okay, we'll do that for that part. And then we need the eye. Don't know why I got that much polish out for just the eye, but I did. We're stuck with it now. I think my eye is going to end up slightly less derpy than theirs. Hi, Jammy Dodgers. What can I do for you? Now is not a good time for lap time, baby girl. I went a little out of bounds here. Hi, Mimi. Yeah, my cremes are separate. My cremes are in drawers. My cremes and crellies and jellies are in 2 drawers, but I'm getting to the point now where I have too much for those 2 drawers, so that's kind of a problem. I'm gonna need to figure out a 3rd drawer situation, and I really don't have a 3rd drawer set aside for them. So I might have to do a complete rearrangement, but yeah, I have all those separate, and then I have a whole drawer that's just stamping supplies, so stamping polishes and plates. So that's a whole separate issue. All right, for the eyeball. I think we're just gonna go, oh, this is gonna be way too big. It's also not quite dark enough. I am now realizing I needed to use the darker color for this. So let's get a little bit of that and a little bit of this. Let's actually do this in a reasonable way. How about that? Can we do this in a reasonable way? No, probably not. It is me after all, so chances seem highly unlikely, but Jammy, sweetheart, please. Okay, you know what? Why use a dotting tool when a brush is already in my hand? Right, Linry? There we go. We did it. All right. Whoop. There's that part so far. We're doing it. We are doing it. Now I need the little like super pale scales. So let's get those going. I think I'm gonna have to add some more thinner here for sure. Jammy baby girl, I'm busy. Okay. She's just so cute. All right, let's see here. That might be too much. I think it's slightly too pale. Oh my goodness. A whole tiny meow. Sweetie. What's going on, baby girl? Okay. Jamie is not very good at meowing. She does more of like a little... She does silent meows, and she does little tiny sounds like the one that you may have just heard. Which to me is fucking hilarious. But it's not really what one can call a meow per se. It's like she has to squirt them out. Baby, I'm so busy right now. Hang on a second, okay? We'll take a break. Okay, we'll take a break. Hang on. Sorry, y'all. We need to take a cat break. Hi. Hi, baby. Do you need a snuggle? Do you need it really badly? Okay, come here. Yeah, come here, sweetie. Okay. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, sweetie. She needs a snuggle so badly. Jamie had to interrupt the stream. She had to squirt a little at me. Her silent meow got so loud that it made a little meep.
I hope she gets what she needs.
Well, she's getting a little purr now. A little snuggle, a little purr. We're just gonna be quiet for a minute and listen to the purrs. Yeah, it's such a funny little noise, isn't it, Lori? Your pup Willow does something similar if you leave the house and leave her with your husband. He calls it the Willow alarm. That's so funny. What a ridiculous animal. Are you happy now? You're really producing a lot of fur, my baby girl. You gotta at least purr into the microphone. I squish you. Oh, I squish you. Okay, baby. Can I put you down now? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I know you don't wanna. I know. There you go. Okay. All right. god, just freaking clouds of fur. Clouds of fur flying everywhere. Ugh. Oh. Oh, Belly. I didn't realize the phone would let you feel the purr. That's so cool. Did it work? Sorry, I cut it off shortly after you switched over. I hope you got to experience a little bit of the purr. All right. She jumped down. She's abandoned me now. Yeah? All right. I'm glad. Okay. Let's get back to these ding-dang nails. You also heard the purrs on your phone because the TV wasn't picking it up? She's so cute. All right. Time for the coral part of things. Gonna need an anti-static nail art apron at this rate? Yeah. Seriously. Okay. So for the corals, this is going to be the lighter tone, but I want to try to basically kind of tone match it, hue match it, but with greater saturation and get as close as possible. So it will be hopefully kind of like we subtracted a little bit of the white from it. Jammy Purr Supercut would go crazy. Yeah, you can clip if you take the Purr footage, it's pretty easy, I discovered, in the back end to trim using their tools. That's how I did it rather than downloading from to my laptop to edit the other one. Cat. All right, currently definitely a little too orange. A little more guava in here. More than that. When I say a little more, I kind of actually mean a lot more. I might have done too much. We'll see. Yeah, that's a bit too much. It's also slightly too dark. Too saturated. I think we're going to have to mix some of the One Melon followers in with it to get the right lightness. So I think the color is close. We just need to lighten it up a bit. We want something that's kind of in between. Probably be more effective if I actually just added a bit of white, but that's close. I think this is going to dry down slightly darker. So I'm going to add just a little more white. Oh, that was probably too much. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it was definitely too much. We're basically at One Melon followers again. Well, actually, hang on. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. All right, hang on. Let me gather everything up a little bit here. Yeah, I think this is probably pretty good. Might be very slightly darker, but it's close enough. All right, so this part is going to start a little past that little hook there. Make sure we get these little curves in there. And this comes kind of way down here. Okay. What a little derp. Okay. I think that's going to work out all right. It is definitely going to dry down slightly on the dark side, but I think that's okay. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. I did do I went a little aggro on that curve. Do I want to try and fix that a little bit? Is that dangerous? It might be dangerous. We're going to try it because I like danger. Danger is my middle name. It's not. Danger is not my middle name. That's not true. There we go. I think, oh, good. We're not focused at all. Perfect. I really like it when the camera does that. There we go. Okay, I think it's close enough. We're going to need, should I do the black first? I should probably do the black first. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? I'll do the other parts that are going to be coral as well. And then I will do the black. And then I'll go in and do the lighter parts after that. Because we still have all these like little, I don't know, what are these? Spines? What are you going to call them? I'm not sure what to call these. The little spiky bits. I feel like this is basically a dragon hairdo. It's like a little dragon mohawk. I mean, if I was a dragon, I would definitely have a mohawk, I think. Get a little bit of a gap there. It's not quite the right shape there, but whatever. I think it's good enough. The nail isn't quite the right shape, so, you know, we do what we can. And then another one here. And then we'll start in on the black. Quills? I guess you could call them quills. You're going to paint a house on your nail now. Good luck. Musumbi is demanding treats, then you must give them. I agree, Musumbi deserves all the treats. Ah! I guess Jamie fully abandoned me. Probably because I didn't give her as many snuggles as she wanted. Which, fair enough. She did pick a pretty bad time, though, in my defense. Okay. We go... Ooh, I want a super fine line here. Oh my goodness. I ended up slightly inside the coral line, but I think that's okay. We'll call that a stylistic choice and pretend I did it on purpose. Just go with me on it. There we go. Okay, so now there's going to be like a little, these little like lines in here. It's like little segments, I guess. I think dragons might be insects. Kind of seems that way. Just judging by the fact that they seem to have body segments. Just saying. Okay. And we'll have some little sketchy bits. I don't know what these are, but I guess maybe little wrinkles. The dragon is getting old. Past its prime. Getting wrinkly. Oh my god. It got a little bit too gunky there. I have to do a little cleanup. Pray for me. Probably be easier to just put more of the coral over top rather than trying to brush the frickin' black off, but you know, when did I ever do anything the easy way? It's not how we roll around here. All right. Let's get this back in here. Oh yeah, she's stringy, but we're gonna go for it anyway. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure that it's more like snake scales, but still. Musumbi has been given treats. Excellent, excellent. I realized on Tuesday afternoon after stream was all done that that cats had not received their treats because Brian actually wasn't awake yet to give them to them, and so there were no stream treats, which was a tragedy for Leo specifically. They did receive them later, so it wasn't really a tragedy for the cats, to be clear. Oh my god. Why am I like this? It's worse than it was before. Perfect. I'm just going to do what I should have done in the first place and just paint over it. It'll be fine, probably. How dare, indeed. An excellent question, Leo. You gotta blame Brian, though, because it is his job. And he slept right through it. Although I do have to say in his defense that he had only gotten like a couple of hours of sleep the night before. So he did require the sleep. Okay, that's a little better. I think we're good now. Hello, Our Lady of Perpetual Lacquer. How are you this evening? We're painting a cute, goofy dragon. We're trying desperately to avoid messing it up at this stage. And by we, I mean, if I mess it up, it's all chat's fault. Obviously. Ah! Okay, well, I just messed it up slightly. So, case in point. Your fault. I don't think I'm going to do all of the black lines that are in the original art. I think I'm just going to sort of limit it to the ones that I think are more necessary to hold it together and give the aesthetic vibe that we're looking for. So, like, I won't bother with the lines that are in the horn, for instance. So I don't think you'll even really see them. Okay. And then we have some little, like, tiny little lines here. It's almost like it's a styled like a lino cut kind of thing, or like a wood cut. Dog baths are exhausting. Oish, yeah, seriously. I have not had a dog in many, 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 many years. But I do remember, even with our small poodle, who was pretty good about having baths, to be honest, it was still a chore bathing that guy. All right. Oh my god. more of like a point here, but it's a really awkward angle to do this at while streaming. Okay, let's give this guy a little eyebrow. We've got to increase the derp. Maximize the derpitude. All right, I think the thumb is done. And now we just have all the other nails left to do. Just want to kind of tidy up this curve slightly. Nose has like just a little bit of an inconsistent shape. There we go. I'm gonna need to back it off a little because now it's a little too hooked, but it's closer. Okay, there we go. Did anyone even notice the difference? Probably not. That's okay. Okay, one nail down. 1 hour in, an hour and 20 minutes in, and we've done one nail. This is going well. Good test nail. Yeah, thanks, Danny. About to make some spicy chimkin sandwiches. Yum. Yeah, 8 pounds is easier. 8 pounds you can do in a big basin sink. Walter we could do in the laundry tub. Who's a miniature poodle, so a fair bit bigger than an 8-pound dog, but you know. 5-hour stream, let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next is this one, which I think we will put on my middle nail, and I don't know if we're necessarily going to get the full thing in there. I do want to try to get the little derpy hands, though. I could do like a split it across. I don't love splitting across 2 nails when it's a complex design like this because it does make it really hard to line up properly. I'll just try and do it as much as I can on one nail and just not have all of it. I think that's fine. We'll do what we can here. All right, well, this time we're going to do a little different. We're going to start with the coral part because I feel like the coral part has like more of a dominant shape in this one. So I'm going to try and get at least like the half of his body and his head. We'll see how small I can make it without it losing cohesion. It's not easy, y'all. It's not easy. All right, so if we have like, if the head starts sort of down here, because I'm gonna want the tail up here, right? Let's see what happens if we kind of go here. And then this becomes like the, well, we might be able to get most of it on there. We're going to miss some stuff for sure. but maybe we can get most of it. Let's see. God, that's a weird little curve, isn't it? It's like a heron, actually. It really reminds me of a heron, the way that they contort their necks and like practically bend in half. Okay. So that's going to be like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of close. And then this is probably going to have to be a little bigger. Let's see. It's about 3. Well, yeah, I'm actually fairly close to the right size. A little bigger, not much. It's going to come down more for sure. It goes a little flat at the bottom. We're getting too thick again. This one is you in your derpy cone of shame picture. I should stop and look at that. I forgot at the time to pause and enjoy your derpy cone of shame picture. Am I allowed to show the derpy cone of shame picture on stream, or may I simply look at it? All right. I feel like the chest is a little puffed on that side. It's a little bit asymmetrical there. There we go. Okay. Herons, dragons, dinosaurs, all related. Yeah, I mean, if you start with the assumption that a dragon is just a dinosaur on its way to becoming a bird, then, you know, then it makes sense. Let's see. Oh, you do have some good derp hands there. So also does, I assume this is your spouse, with the derp action going on. This is extremely silly. Go for it, I have no shame. All right, hang on. I'm just going to show one photo. Is it this one? That's the one right there. There she is. There's our belly. little derpy. Little derpy. Little cone. Extremely silly. I like it. I approve. I approve of the silliness. I think it's correct. Whoops, didn't mean to turn that off. I meant to change it back to this one. There we go. Okay. Back over to here. All right, so there's the base for that. I kind of want to try and get all of that color in at the same time, but also I feel like that's going to make it more difficult because the blue adds so much structure in here. So maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't worry about that and we just go ahead and start adding in the blue sections and get those roughed in around it. Okay, so this is going to be like here. So you're like kind of a weird, got like the little hook and like the little squiggle. Which means this part is like up here. I do need more of this. Yeah, Belly wouldn't stop scratching. They had to put her in a cone of shame. There's actually, if you're on my Discord, there's also photos of the dog in the cone of shame as well, and the spouse in the cone of shame, which is all excellent. All right, so we go like this. And like this. And this is sort of skinny and then goes wide naturally, because why wouldn't it? Willow had been in the cone for 6 months due to a skin issue that she wouldn't leave alone. You have psoriasis and your bendy arms can reach your entire back, so your husband was joking about coning you. That's pretty good. It was nice of him to also wear the cone himself. You got pink sparkly shit on your nails? Good job, Sonia. Everyone's legs have to give you the right of way when you have the cone of shame. I don't know. What do you think is more effective at making people get out of your way? Cone of shame or wheelchair? I feel like very few people respect wheelchairs, so maybe cone of shame is the way to go. Maybe instead of using a wheelchair, you should just have a cone of shame. And then people will actually get out of your way. I feel like that could work. Maybe you should be giving that a shot. All right. We got one there. We got a horn. We got a horn. We got so many things happening coming up out of the head here. I might need to streamline that. We'll see. On this side, we've got, oh boy, we need to thin this again. You should get coned when you have an allergic reaction? Yeah. Yeah, having big dogs that are coned and also not really super aware of their extra width when they are coned definitely is going to end up with people being rammed. There's no getting around that. I, for a while, was trying to keep Jamie coned for her to, because she used to really overgroom, and she was like basically completely bald. Her stomach was completely bald. So I tried to cone her for a while, and I'll tell you what, that did not work out. She had no idea where her like anything was. So she would just basically walk into things. She would just walk into everything, sadly. She would walk into everything with just the most sad, despondent look on her face. And she was also quite confident that she was incapable of using her legs in any meaningful way while coned. Like she couldn't jump or anything. All right. I acknowledge that this looks fucking crazy at the moment, but just bear with me. We're going to get there. I have faith, and you should too. You use your power chair to move sofas and full wardrobes. That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, you definitely want to watch out for a power chair. But I mean, I feel like you should be watching out for any chair. Personally, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. feel like maybe you should just not be a dick. But hey, what do I know? Okay, the derpy hands kind of working so far. We'll see what happens when I have to start shading and such. But the derpy hands at least are kind of working. All right. We do need a darker shade now. So let's start getting into this. Fat dog neck rolls. What? I think I missed a chat here. Everyone's talking very quickly about dogs. Oh, your dog has so many neck rolls that they act as a kind of natural cone. Great. Great. Actually, let's get a little of this. Oh my god, your father's electric chair destroyed your walls and you had to get wall guards. I guess that could be a real hazard, especially if the house isn't really set up and you have a newer user. I can really see that being a problem. Yeah, the lack of respect for wheelchair users is often like kind of shocking. Like, what do you mean you're just not going to get out of people's way? What the hell? I also see a lot of like people talking about being blocked into their cars and stuff by people parking beside them and being like, oh, I'm just running in. I've seen that a few times from different people, different content creators that are like in wheelchairs, and they're like, if this happens to me, you know, more than once in a day, which it often does, then every single thing I'm trying to do that day is going to take 5 times as long as it would have if people had just like had an ounce of respect for the all the like signage and systems that are in place. But you know, everybody's in a big ass hurry, so you can't wait 20 seconds for a different spot to open up, and you can't walk 5 feet further, park a little further away, because that'll ever so slightly inconvenience you. It's obviously better to make somebody else completely incapable of getting out of their vehicle. In situations like that, I really feel like you're well within your rights to just like put the ramp down onto their car. I just think you should do that. I think it's fine. It's probably only an unpopular opinion among assholes anyway, so, you know, go for it. All right. So far this looks completely crazy. I'm trusting the process. I hope y'all are trusting the process too. Cuz right now it does not look like anything. I don't quite have everything in the right place, but we just have to roll with it. Because it's there now and it's not moving. All right, let's see. This is going to be the wing. I'm going to bring it up and around this way. And then it's going to go basically like this. Just the smallest, stubbiest little wings. Very silly wings for such a large creature. I'm definitely going to have to redo those in order to... Yeah, see, that tail should have come out from higher up proportionally, but which means actually the arms should be lower. But you know, we're just going to try and make it work here. We're just going to end up putting this wing in front of the tail. And it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I promise. It'll be fine. Nobody panic. Some of you are definitely panicking right now and you need to stop. You had to have some fuckwit toad before because they decided to park their Mini Cooper on the dashed line between two disabled bays. Man. I mean, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? Having it towed seems kind under the circumstances, but... Okay, this is going to come up, and then that. It's a very strong brow. This part is the ear. And then those are the horns. I'm gonna actually slightly change the color, make them a little darker, because I think that will work better for this. And I'm not going to use the black to outline on this one, because I think it's going to be too hard to get clean outlines. Especially around the blue areas or the teal areas. So I think I might just use the teal to outline where I need it. Ah! All right, well. We'll just have to go back in and fix that a little bit, but that's okay. You know, we don't strive for perfection. We strive for cute, good enough, nice. Got it. And also for fun. And I think we're hitting that. Okay. Yeah, this arm is definitely too high up, but I don't know that I can really do much about that without kind of screwing everything up. So I think we're just gonna roll with that as it is. Bring this up a little bit with that outline. And then this is going to be the outline of our lower jaw. Which is also a little squiggly, but I don't think we're going to be able to get the squiggle in. You're panicking? You're not panicking. You're too hungry to panic? I feel like that's valid. Dame can panic for both of you while you're just hungry, okay, Mei? Yeah, exactly. Finding the perfect spot takes longer than just walking. If you're able to walk a little bit extra, like, why are you trying to find the perfect spot that's, like, super close up? Just stop that. You're being ridiculous. Brian is very funny. He has a habit of parking actually much further from the doors than is considered reasonable by most people. Which is fine with me because I certainly don't mind walking at all. Although it can be a little bit of a challenge when I'm having a bad knee day. Now that I got my brace, it's usually fine. But yeah, he'll like literally the lot will be empty, like completely empty, 0 cars in it, and he will park halfway down the length of the lot, away from the door anyway, just for no reason at all. He just Oh, he says he's got to get his steps in. So I guess apparently that's the reason. It's very silly. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, there's no reason not to. If you're able to do that much walking, then why not? You know, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Okay, let's go back to this orangey color and get into the wings section. Sour candy. I like sour candy. Sour candy's good. Yeah, not feeling claustrophobic in a full lot seems like also a really valid reason to park further away. And like just not having to fight with people for spots. Like you don't have to jockey, and like there's fewer people trying to get like work around you when you're getting in and leaving. Oh, this is the other fun thing with Brian parking. Fucking cracks me up. He gets so annoyed with people that back into the spot. And like, I think that what people are thinking is that it's going to be easier to get out if they back into the spot. But he rightly points out that backing into the spot, you're actually like, you have less space to maneuver when you're backing in than when you're backing out. You've got like a great big wide area to back out into. So it does actually. He's not wrong. It makes more sense to back out rather than to back in. Yeah, especially if you've got backup cameras, which almost all cars do. He says. But it is extremely funny how angry he gets about it. never, never not going to be funny to me. He really hates it. Okay. Doofy little wings. I think I did make them slightly smaller than they really should be. I'm going to just make them a little tiny bit bigger here. But not much. They do need to remain tiny and doofy. Yeah, you can only use the disabled bays, though, really. Like, I mean, I guess you could just park super far away, and if the lot didn't, if the lot was, like, pretty empty. But, like, there's no guarantee that someone isn't going to just fucking park right beside you and cause you a problem. Not that there's a guarantee when you're in the disabled bay either, but at least you have recourse in the form of calling the fucking cops or whatever. Whereas if you park somewhere that isn't a disabled bay in your disabled vehicle and someone sits beside or pulls in beside you and blocks you, you don't have a lot of recourse in that situation. So it makes sense that you would stick to that. Ray says backing in barely takes any less time than front in. In BC, they're taught that the correct way to park in a stall is to reverse stall park.
Well, I haven't seen the people that take 10 minutes to back into the fucking spot because they suck at tracking.
Leo says Brian is always right except when he forgoes treat time. Leo cares about one thing. I'm fairly certain that Leo only comes to stream to see the cats and hopes every time that there will be treats time, even when it's a night stream and therefore not going to have treats time. I don't think that Leo is a fan of me. I think that Leo is a fan of my cats. And honestly, I fucking get it. I fucking get it, man. You're not wrong. I know you're not here to see me. It's okay, Leo. All right. Now we have the tail fork thingy. I don't know what to call that. The tail stabby bit. It's starting to look a little bit like the dragon now. A little bit. Backing into itty bitty unload spots in a delivery van sounds horrible. Yeah, I mean, I get not wanting to take a bay because you can wheel yourself a greater distance than a lot of people are able to hobble. But also, if some asshole parks next to you and blocks you, you're kind of fucked if you're not in the disabled bays. They should have disabled bays that are further away, I think. Specifically for wheelchair users that want to be nice to people that are not wheelchair users, but that also have a disabled sticker. There you go. 2 disabled areas, disabled parking areas. 1 close up for people that need to hobble, and 1 far away for people that can wheel. I basically just I think I've come up with the solution for world peace. I think I did it, y'all. Yeah, one that's wide but far away, and one that's narrower maybe but close up. Or it could be the same width and close up. Egg? What egg? Egg? What are we egging? Where's egg? You make egg? Oh, egg croissant. Making egg croissant? Leo is president of the Jammy Dodgers fan club. I didn't know she had one. Did you hear that, Jammy? You know what? Jammy has put herself in a different place that I can put the cam on. Hang on. I just realized I was hearing snoring. And thought, gee, I wonder where that is coming from. And then I went to look, and lo and behold, she's right there. Oh, she's not snoring anymore, though. I'll tell you that much. Oh, come on. I put too many things in the way. There we go. There we go. We got a sleepy jammy cam. Egg with croissant. Yes. Fry egg. Fry egg, put on croissant. Perfect. Croissant. Okay. We need wingies. We need to redo these guys. Now that we have the orange bits in. Okay. Yes. And then, do we risk it? Let's risk it. It does feel dangerous, but I think we can just define the arms just a tiny bit more. And then maybe get a little bit of this tail action in here. Although I don't know if you'll really be able to tell that's what it is. Okay. The egg goes into a hollowed out croissant, really? Not just like a breakfast sandwich that's on a croissant? I feel that I need this. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. We might even arrive at some point. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do all 5 nails this way, though, because this is like a stupid amount of detail to try to do on all 5 nails in one sitting, in one night. It's going to end up being the longest stream ever if I try and do that. So I think what we need to do is decide on some like cool patterning stuff or something, taking from parts of this. I think that could be fun. We can make that work. All right. A little bit darker under here. Now, we need that eye. Just gonna do a little thingy like this for the moment, and then I will fix in a second. Get these like little segments going. Tummy. Okay. And then get some of those little detail lines happening. Oh, that was really bad. That's okay. It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm going to keep telling myself. It does not need to be perfect. They actually don't have an outline on the tail, but I do feel like it kind of needs it here. Just like a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, the big things at this point are figuring out how to make the face look not stupid, which is going to involve the eye. And then we also have some of the paler highlights that we need. Oh, we didn't do those on the... Yeah, we forgot the paler highlights on the thumb. I need to add those. Let's backtrack real quick and just do that real fast on the thumb. Because I think that's going to be pretty quick. It's just going to be like a... Just do a little bit of this. There, that's it for the thumb. Easy peasy. And now for this one, it's going to be like this. And they get less and less cohesive as we go along because it's so tiny. I can't do nothing with it. Too small. Okay, we get some wings. Ooh, I want wings now. Sounds tasty. Pointer finger can be smoky. Yeah, I'm thinking smoke on the pointer finger. That would be fun. And then maybe take a couple of like, maybe do one finger, like this nail could be like the blue with that subtle like, sorry, I'm realizing I'm behind stuff. This nail could be blue or the turquoise teal color with this little like subtle scale pattern. And then this nail could be the coral color. So it's like the belly. And then this nail is just like this, the flame or smoke or whatever we're deciding that is. I think that would work really well. Okay, speaking of the smoky bit, we need that now. Oh, wait, I should do the eyeball first. Let's do the eye first. So this is going to be using a very small dotting tool, I think. We'll use my smallest dotting tool. And everybody hold your breath, okay? Okay. Kind of. We kind of did it. It's not done yet, though. I just realized, too, it's like a little bit far back or a little bit far forward, but I'm not sure if, you know what, let's just do it again. Because I think I need to kind of... There we go. Clear that up a little bit, and then we'll try this again. Do a dot a little further back, like here, because it is such a derpy little fucker. And then we're going to use the black to do a tiny little dot. And then I will attempt to do the little thing around it, but I might fuck that up completely. Yeah, I think, Sassy, I agree. I think gradient, especially for the turquoise nail, I think is going to be critical. Come on. Come on. You're not going to do it. Let's try again. Oh my god, come on. I did it. Holy shit. It's so small and stupid. It's so small and stupid. Okay. All right. Now, can I do the outline without completely fucking it up? That's going to be the question. Oh boy, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. I'm calling it good enough. I'm calling it good enough, and then I'm immediately going in and editing it. Probably gonna fuck it up more. There we go. I didn't fuck it up more. It's perfect now. Or at least it's good enough. Okay. Let me just close this for the moment. Gonna go fetch dinner. I had a cob of corn before stream. It was my pre-stream. So we went to the farmer's market today. We have a little local farmer's market on Thursdays, and so we went to that, and it was good. They had a bunch of delicious looking stuff, and so we got the delicious looking stuff, which included some corn. And when we got home, I had to feed the kitties because it was almost their supper time. And then I said to Brian, if I bat my eyes at you, will you microwave me a cob of corn? To which he responded incredulously, what century is this? And then he followed it up with, do you even know how to bat your eyes? What does that even mean? And so I had to demonstrate batting my eyes, which honestly, it's a very silly phrase, and it's an even sillier thing to do, I think. I don't think it's actually a reasonable thing to do. Anyway, it turns out I don't know how to do it, really. So if anybody knows how to bat your eyes properly in like a pleading but cute sort of way, please let me know. I will point out, though, that it did work. I did get my microwaved corn. So, joke's on him, I guess. Okay. You fucked up the egg croissants. The well wasn't deep enough and some of the egg escaped. I'm going to need to understand how you do the egg croissants. Like, are you cracking a raw egg in the middle of a baked croissant? And then what? Putting it in the microwave? Or baking it? I assume you're not steaming it. That would be wrong and bad. You're certainly not going to be boiling it. That would just be funny. I would love to see someone come up with a boiled croissant, though. Just like to fuck with people. Cat slow blink, but real cute about it. I think it's usually faster than that. Like when they show it on cartoons and stuff, it's definitely faster. You'd need to remove your glasses and then you can't see to record the video. Maybe you should get your husband to record you batting your eyes at him. I mean, I assume he's not awake right now because he's probably not completely fucking crazy. But okay, I think that'll do for the moment for the smoke or whatever this is. I assume it's smoke. I'm gonna just do a little bit more of this outline color. There we go. The difference between a flirt and a witch?
A flirt bats her eyes, a witch eyes her bats.
A flirt bats her eyes, a witch... What? Eyes her bats. It's really good. It's only a few blanks. The real trick is the right head tilt. Yeah, there you go. A hard-boiled egg stuffed into a croissant like a raccoon was trying to hide it in there would be very fun. Oh yeah, the doggy head tilt. Is that what we need to do?
Is that like the equivalent for...
I mean, it kind of is designed to accomplish the same goal, right? So I feel like that kind of works. All right, so let's do a puffy, cloudy, smoky thing for the index nail. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix up a bunch of the puffy, smoky, cloudy color. It's you, you're the witch? Yes. That is correct, Mei Mei. Ray, you sort of seem like you don't appreciate Brian's joke. I don't understand why that would be the case. Okay, let's make it a nice big puffy cloud here. Like right near where the dragon is. And then we'll do some other like puffy clouds around it. Some a little smaller than others. Is that all I want to do? Just that many? Or do I want to do more? I feel like maybe... I don't know. You know? Sometimes I get very indecisive about this stuff. And I'm never quite sure when to stop sometimes, so... And just one more partial down here. Yeah, I feel like that kind of works. A little bit of shoulder movement. So you're saying it's not like the dog tilt? Okay. Now, actually, I'm just going to add some more of this. All right. And then the darker color becomes the outline. I might end up having to go back in and slightly tweak because I've gone a little too thick in a couple of spots. I don't know. We'll see how much I care once it's done. It's kind of cute so far. So for the gradient, I'm debating whether I want to do a sponge gradient or a brush gradient because I didn't sponge the actual dragon, and I kind of feel like the texture might actually help. So if I do like little brush strokes to gradient it. I'm talking now about the nail that is the turquoise and teal gradient with the scales on it. So it looks like part of the dragon's body. Because here I've got it, you know, just brush strokes. But I don't know if that's the way to go for the full nail. Okay, I'm kind of feeling like I want a few little... Yeah. Give it a little bit more 3D-ness. Now it's popcorn. And I think that's beautiful. All right. Definitely brush. Okay. The method of the egg croissant is to take a sandwich croissant, cut out a portion and hollow it, pour in egg, add whatever toppings you want, and then bake. I see. Okay. So the croissant ends up getting double baked. When your husband was swapping his iPhone 16 Pro to an iPhone 17 Air, the woman in the shop said the camera isn't as good, and he said he has a wife for taking pics. That's hilarious, Belly. All right. Okay, so I think Whoop. Ha 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 ha. Didn't realize that lid was not on. I'm going to do my first coat just with the bottle brushes, because it is going to require some manipulation. And then we will do the second coat with smaller brushes to get much more gradient in. But first coat, I'm just going for opacity, so that's fine. Now this other nail, because I've used a blend, I think I'm going to have to just suck it up, Buttercup, and make more of it and try and brush it on as well as I can with one of these other brushes. That's right, we did add a little bit of white to this, didn't we? Just a tiny little bit of white, not too much. I did do too much the one time, I think. I'm gonna add a little more of the pink. Maybe? Just a touch more of the pink. That was more than a touch. It's probably okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now we just have to cross our fingers that this kind of applies okay. It's truly not designed for this brush. Don't really have a good brush for this. But the polishes themselves are reasonably forgiving, so... Okay, and actually, oop, some of that, a little of this. Oh boy. This is really very watery at the moment. There's a lot of thinner in it, so I have to be very careful how I apply, because it will just pick up if I'm not careful. All right. Hello, Bonket. Welcome, welcome. We have been painting dragons. We're nearing the end, but we still have, I think, a solid half hour to go. Because it's one of those streams. There's like a lint in here, which is not great. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Uh-huh. Okay, that's a little better. We gotta let that dry for a bit. That one also needs to dry for a bit. But this is what we have on my broken thumb. And then the smoky nail, and oh yeah, we're doing a real good job of focusing tonight too. And then we just have these two nails left to do. I see something I'm not super happy about on this nail right here. So I'm just gonna... There we go. Now I'm happier. See, wasn't that easy? Really enjoying this this color combo. This is super fun. All right, let's do a second coat of this on my pinky. Try desperately to avoid picking up the first coat, because this brush is really not designed for this. It's a cleanup brush, so it's too firm for the job that I'm about to ask it to do. Oop. We need more. We need more. Oh my god. Please. Please just cooperate. Okay. All right, I think it's just gonna have to, it's gonna have to do. Yeah, I feel like this is another one of those manis that's gonna work best matte. Although I will, of course, take photos glossy as well, and then mattify it later. Okay. Now, for this nail, because we are gradienting, I am going to use this stupid brush instead. This one. Which I have never quite felt like I've got the hang of, but I can kind of sort of make it work, so it's fine. Really probably should have just done the top part with the regular bottle brush for this layer, but that's okay. That's actually working out all right, given that it needs to be a little bit brush strokey for this to work anyway. I am not mad at that. I'll just even that out a little at the top. And then clean that up a little. And then this, we're going to do the opposite direction and see how that works. And if we need to, then we will do some stuff in the middle with an in-betweeny color. I feel like we probably will, but yeah, I think we will. It's just a little bit too much contrast, but that's okay. All right, so we will do a blend. Keep it nice and thin. Go one direction and then the other direction. Whoop. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is why you got to be so careful when you're thinning it out. You end up with these areas that get a little bit too much thinner on them, and it ends up sort of partly melting the stuff underneath. Now, some of this we'll be able to kind of disguise with the scales as well, but I think also using a top coat before we add the scales might help smooth things out a little. So I'm gonna add a top coat while it's still just a little bit wet. I'll use this one. Pizza breakover, back to nail work. Woohoo! Okay. It's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. But I think the scales will also help with it. And we didn't want it to be like a perfectly smooth thing. I can also do, once this is dried down a bit, I can also do like a little small brushes with thinned out polish over top of it, and I think that will make it a little bit more consistent. Now this nail, we do want some of the lighter color on. And this, I am going to use this brush. Try and make sure this is all mixed in properly. I just didn't want to have to use more than what's already on my palette, because I'm being skimpy. And also this polish, I think, no longer exists. You can't purchase it anymore. So, you know. All right. I think I'm going to use the black liner and make like some little segments on here. Like this is the belly. New car. That's exciting. Built to spec. That is extra fun for someone who's into cars. I'm definitely not one of those people, but I can understand it being very fun. If you're like a car person. All right. Is what a cat. What are we asking about? And hello, Certified Lynn. Oh, okie dokie. Oh. In the top corner. Oh yeah, it's a cat. that's the cat. That's the Jammy Dodgers. Hey Jammy, are you awake? Can you wake up and say hello to people? Jammy. Jammy Dodgers. She's so asleep. It's one of the old ladies. She's just sort of a gray fluff that snores. She is my perfect precious angel baby, and I love her. If you go back and watch the VOD later, you'll be able to see her come up and get a cuddle session and also hear her purring into the microphone. It's very cute. She is actually the star of the stream. Whenever there's one of the cats on cam, that cat is, of course, the star of the stream. That's just how that works. Okay, I'm going to need these two. I'm going to need this one. These guys I can close up for the moment, at least. Okay. Now, going back to this. More of this shit. Oh, I don't want this one. I want my little bit thicker brush. This is actually going to be much preferable for this part of things. All right. So I might as well clean up the edge work here. Oh yeah, go ahead and just fuck that up. I'm going to need to use my cleanup brush on it now. That's all right. Okay. And then we'll add increasing amounts of this other one until we get down to the lighter area. And I do want it to look a little bit brush strokey. So it's not quite perfectly smooth. Okay. Definitely need to loosen this up a little with some more thinner. The coral color on the palette looks like a nest for a dragon egg. It does kind of, doesn't it? Very appropriate. Yeah, we need more of the lighter color. And then just the lightest color. And then the little scales we will do in the super pale version that has white in it. All right, that looks a little better. It's a little more intentional. So let's get this scale color going here. Your latest food hyperfixation is Ritz crackers with a layer of cream cheese dipped in deep fried crispy onions. Holy fuck, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Crispy onions are truly divine. I figured out how to make them, like the fried shallot version. There's a few different versions, I guess. But I figured out how to make fried shallots a while back, and I'm really feeling like it's super dangerous information. It doesn't feel safe to know how to make something like that, and that it's so easy to do. Very dangerous. Yeah, every time I make them, I always wish that I had made twice as much as I did. Yeah, just handfuls of the crispy onions for sure. I would do that. I would absolutely do that, especially like when they're still warm. Oh my god. I actually was going to have that. So last night I made little tofu Buddha bowls, and it was supposed to have crispy onions on top, crispy shallots. But the fucking store, man, we went and they didn't have any like shallots that seemed in any way reasonable. Like they were all extremely small, super soft. It was like, what have you people done? All right. I feel like that's it. I think we've done it, y'all. You were taught at a young age how to make them. Your mom regrets, but it's necessary for a lot of your dishes. Yeah, so now, of course, I, being considerably older, very white, and having been raised in mostly rural or small town Canada, did not get introduced to very many foods until I was significantly older. And so fried onions for me were like a revelation that occurred in my late 20s, I think, mid to late 20s. A lot of food I just didn't get introduced to until I moved to Toronto. So yeah, they came later in life for me, and they were always like either at a restaurant or like you could buy them pre-made, and it just never even occurred to me that I could just fucking do that at home. And it's funny because like I'm not a bad cook and I'm quite a good baker, but it just hadn't ever occurred to me that I could just do that. And now that I have this super secret information, I'm like, oh my god, I can just do this whenever I want. Okay, it's time. This got so dirty. I don't clean out my little brush dipping cap very often, but every once in a while it gets so gunked up. Today it's bad. So we're gonna do a double cleaning here. Gonna do a proper cleaning of my brushes, because boy did they get a bit of a workout tonight. We are done, at any rate. I think we're finished. I'm gonna do seal glaze and top coat, and then after stream I'll photograph with just the glossy top coat, and then I will mattify later after it has had some more time, because I have discovered that if I mattify too early, then sometimes the mat will pull and go weird. So just gonna oil up my brushes. I like to use this opportunity to also oil my tattoos. Might as well. Gets the excess oil off of the brush. And it goes somewhere useful. Why not? Why ever not? This poor little brush has seen better days and probably needs to be just retired. But I might be able to rescue it still. I'm gonna give it a hot water dip and see if I can bring it back. Actually, I've got several that could use that treatment. Hello, Ms. Hot Mess. Very Pern energy. You know, I think I only read like one or two of the Pern books a million years ago. And I remember enjoying them, but it was one of those series where there were too many books. And I think they might have still been coming out at the time. I can't remember. Maybe not. But I always struggled like psychologically with really large book series if I couldn't get my hands on all of the books at the same time. It's like hard for me to start them. Less so now, but when I was a kid, I would read them so quickly. Like I went through them crazy fast. So I would, read an entire novel in a day easily. And so if I couldn't get my hands on an entire series, then I would have to like wait. And waiting is impossible. So it just ended up being like a lot of series I either would start and then abandon because the wait was impossible for me, or I just held off ever starting because I didn't have all of them available to me. I also didn't I was at that point in time, I was like living in a place where I didn't have easy access to a library aside from my school library, which was small and not well stocked. So yeah. So this is like one of those series that I really feel like I want to go ahead and engage with, even though it will be a little bit late. You hot water your nail art brushes pretty often? Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. You were knocked out with your daughter's car on you? You'd been... What? What the hell? Did I miss something? Have you been terribly injured? I hope that you're okay. I don't know anything about this, but that sounds awful. Waiting is how you discovered fan fiction. Yeah, fan fiction wasn't really a thing. Like, you got to remember that this is pre-internet. I'm talking about pre-internet era. So fan fiction, unless you were writing it yourself, that wasn't a solution to anything. Cat! Oh my God. Okay, Jesus Christ. You fell asleep deeply with your daughter's cat on you. All right. Okay. Everybody's all right. Jesus. Exactly, Leo. We're all thinking you got freaking run over, and this is how you're coming in. Oh, seriously. Cat in cone that has bad hot spot open wound that you're nursing back to health. Aw. Well, yeah, okay, Dame. Fan fiction did exist, but it wasn't like the vast majority of people weren't going to be able to access it. And yeah, you'd have to know about fan magazines and stuff, and that wasn't really accessible to a little rural Canadian girl. So people have always written fan fiction. That's always been a thing. And people have been publishing fan fiction for a really long time. It was just before the internet, it was mostly in zines and stuff. So it's a little different. Waiting for new fan fiction would be just as bad as waiting for the actual books. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was like vaguely aware that because you could like there were fan groups and stuff that you could certainly like in the sci-fi magazine, all those like astounding and amazing and all those kinds of magazines. They had I just oiled this and now I'm already gonna have to go in and clean up. I missed a bit. But yeah, they had like you know fan magazines that you could join from those. Those ones I knew about, but yeah, it wasn't a normal or typical thing. And I suspect it was mostly people who lived in cities that were able to access that kind of thing. Like fan conventions existed back then too, but like I'd never heard about those. Most people outside of specific geographic regions probably wouldn't have heard about them either. In many ways, the internet has been a truly wonderful thing. I was the same way, Ms. Hot Mess. I grew up on that stuff. By the time I was so my mom and my stepdad got married when I was 8 years old, and so when I was like 11, 12 years old, I was already deeply into my stepdad's science fiction collection, and so he had all of those. The anthology magazines and all the classic novels and all kinds of series and stuff. And so that was like the stuff that I really got into reading. That was my first major love affair was with science fiction because of his collection, and so I was into all of those classics and then also all of the like short fiction stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, pre-internet news traveled slow for sure. Your dad was an early adopter, so you were reading fanfics at 11. Yeah, you must be a little younger than me because there wasn't internet when I was 11. You would have had access to fanfics through the convention circuit, though. Yeah, the rural Ontario didn't have a convention circuit. That wasn't a thing. Toronto probably did, but I wouldn't have known about it. I do feel like it was more an American city thing. Yeah, so you're like 10 years younger than me. That makes sense. I think we're done, y'all. Should we take another look at Jammy Dodgers? And I'll get out the other lens here. Oh, I know Toronto had conventions by the early 2000s. They would have had to have been happening much earlier than that for them to have been relevant to my early my early science fiction education. But also, I just wasn't living in Toronto until much later. I was like 20 by the time I was living in Toronto. All right. Are you going to... There we go. You went to your first one in like 8th or ninth grade. Man, 7th or 8th grade, going to a convention at that age would have been amazing. I was unaware of the existence of conventions. I assume they were happening. I'm sure that they were happening, but I was unaware of their existence at that age. They certainly would not have been happening even in Kingston. The thumb is definitely, I think, the best, but I'm not mad at the rest of it either. Let me get this off the screen so that we can actually see all of it here. Actually, I'll raise you up so you can see more of my nails. Okay. All right. This is gonna be better. It's not quite as close up for the thumb, but it does allow me to show you all of these nails in reasonably good focus all at once. So we're gonna do a glossy top coat, and then I'll take some photos of those after stream, and then I will mattify them probably tomorrow because I need to still eat and everything. I do feel like it's probably easier in gel, but I also feel like it's such a different medium that I would likely struggle, at least at first, Dame. I don't think that it's I think it's just a matter of like learning the tricks to succeed in a slightly different medium, which is, always a thing. Anytime you change media, you're gonna have to learn new tricks for it, right? I'm always amazed at what people can pull off in gel. The precision is incredible. I wish I was able to work with it, but it feels too dangerous. I'm very, very pleased with this, though. Very fun. Yeah, I'm not like starving or anything, Maymay. I did have a cob of corn right before stream, like an hour before stream. So I'm not like unfueled. I am fueled. I'm just ready for something a little bit more robust. Did Timony ever get coconut shrimp? No. Timony did not get coconut shrimp. Timony is A, on a diet, and B, a cat. And so he can't have everything that he wants. But he did get a little bit of chimkin the other day, so he'll survive. You've tried doing a bit of lacquer painting so that the colors match the stamping polish you used, and it was so hard. Yeah, the biggest thing with painting with lacquer is keeping it loose enough. That's truly like 90% of it is keeping it loose enough. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. I know a lot of people dip directly into the bottle rather than using a palette, because then they don't have to worry as much about the drying. You're always working with fresh new polish. I don't like to do that in part because I often am working with so many colors. Having that many bottles in front of me is a problem. And also, I like to mix colors a lot. And so when I'm mixing custom colors, I need to have the palette regardless. So it's just got to be using a lot of thinner. Ms. Hot Mess, you're an artist and trying to acquire all the brushes and tools so you can start painting nail art. Yeah, it's you don't need much to start, to be honest. You can really do a lot with, like, literally I see people who have like a couple of like one detail brush, one liner brush, and a toothpick, and they're able to do fantastic art. Obviously that's starting in hard mode. But you know, for in my mind, sort of the bare minimum is like a decent detail brush like that, a little bit shorter, with not too many hairs on it. A liner brush, it doesn't have to be as long as this, but a liner brush, huge boon for doing straight lines of any kind. And then like a couple of dotting tools. Like I would say, like, if you have, you know, 2 or 3 dotting tools to start you out, that's enormous. And you can really do a hell of a lot with just that. You can do so much with just that. But it does take, you know, it takes time and practice. And I started out with just like those. Actually, this is one of them. Not that one, but this and this. And got like a bunch of these. Actually, I've got 2. Well, no, those are not the same. Those are different ones. They are different colors. I think there's like one more in this set, but this is just like a cheap. It was like, I think it was like $10 or something on Amazon. It was just like an assorted brush set, and they're fine. They're completely fine. They're not amazing, but they're fine. So yeah, you only use 2 or 3 brushes most of the time. You're just using one brush for the whole thing. That's like, honestly, the vast majority. And if you watch a bunch of my streams, you'll see vast majority of the time I am using these 2 brushes for like 99% of what I'm doing. And these poor ratty old things have seen some shit. But that's like the vast majority of the stuff that I do is just using those 2. But even the shitty ones, if you take good care of them, they'll usually do all right. You had a cruddy regular paintbrush, and the biggest skill is really just thinner. True. Thinner is the #1 nail art trick. I will always tell everyone this. Nail polish thinner, #1 nail art trick. It is 90% of what you need. Waiting on a silicone mat. Yeah, I have a couple that are literally just like kitchen silicone mats. I have others that I've got that are actually like nail art mats. I really like these silicone rounds. I have the wrong lens in, but these silicone rounds, which you can get like through nail art places, but you can also just buy them like online or whatever. Those are fantastic. Your nail art brush set from Ulta is about 10 years old. Yeah, the ones that I have from Amazon, those are the ones I started with. You started with regular paintbrushes, bobby pin dotting tool, and thinner. Yeah. Trimming half the hairs off of a cheap brush. Yep. Yeah, thankfully you don't need a lot of equipment to do some pretty cool art. So, all right. Top coat. Where's this one here? Oh yeah, silicone jar openers are good for palette and for opening stuck bottles. You just have to make sure, because there's 2 different types, right? Like there's the textured ones like this, and then there's the smooth ones. So you just want to make sure you're getting the smooth ones if you want to use it as a palette. But yeah, those are like, you can get those all over the place. Easy peasy. They're also fantastic for fluid art. If you wanna get into making fluid art or doing art on decals. Regular silicone playmat from a craft store, absolutely. That's one of the nice things, is that most of this stuff is not Most of the nail art tools are not nail art specific. So you can kind of just use what you've got or what you can get cheap. A lot of this stuff you can even get from the dollar store. Jemmy is repositioning. Yeah, a lot of time and patience for sure. But that's all art, right? Like if you're already an artist, you know what it is to learn a craft and develop it, right? So you know that you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time to learning new tricks. And that's just the way it always is when you're learning a new art medium. I started out with oil paint and acrylics and dabbled with inks and watercolors and got into digital art and pottery, and then got into, for a little while, I was doing 3D modeling, and now I'm doing this shit. So each new thing comes with its own big old learning curve. Yeah, you showed up during Top Coat, Danielle. Stream started 3 hours ago. We're finally done. It was fun, though. Inktense pencils. I'm unfamiliar with Inktense pencils. But yeah, playing with other media along with nails, nail polish stuff could be a lot of fun for sure. I've seen people do like after letting a matte coat dry really well, do like pencils over top of that. I've seen people dabble with that before, which seems very, very cool. You just stopped doing art after your eldest died, but it didn't stop collecting art supplies. Yeah, yeah, that's I understand that. It can be hard to be creative under those kinds of circumstances. But sometimes art therapy can help just a little bit. Oh, they're watercolor pencils? That makes sense. Yeah. They're like watercolor pencils, but permanent ink once activated. Cool. I used to have watercolor pencils. Actually, I might still have some watercolor pencils. I have a stockpile of art supplies that I haven't touched in ages as well. But all right. We're done. Eyeshadow and matte top coat to do gingham or other fun patterns. Interesting. That could be fun. Yeah, people do all kinds of crazy cool stuff. Jammy Dodgers, are you the cutest? Yeah, she's the cutest. Yeah, that's it's one of those things, like, I mean, I haven't been exactly in that position, but you know, my brother died a number of years back, and it's the sort of thing that, like, one of the hardest things about that isn't dealing with the immediate grief. It's the years and years and years, and for the rest of your life, dealing with other people's responses to your grief, uh, which is, like, for me, has been one of the hardest things, because it forces me to deal with other people's emotions when I am unprepared for it. And so that's a tough one. So I really understand not necessarily wanting to, like, talk about stuff like that outside of safe spaces. But yeah. I think we're done. I'm boiling my ass off under these freaking lights. Tuesday is Tuesday. I don't know what we're doing. We're doing nail art of some sort on Tuesday. If you want to have a say in potentially what nail art we do on Tuesday, you can join my Discord. The link is in the description. If you aren't already in there, you can join that and you can tell me what to do or request a demonstration or, ask me to play with something. I love suggestions. Um, and other than that, of course, if you don't feel like joining Discord, I totally get it. You can also DM me on Instagram. I'm vex.lacquer on there. You can comment here, whatever. I'm easy. Um, and what else? Next Thursday is going to be a swatch and review for a new 1002 nails collection. That will be exciting. I have not swatched them yet. I need to get my little paws onto them. I think that's going to be my job this weekend. So we're going to be doing that next Thursday. But yeah, Tuesday is going to be art. So throw me your suggestions. Oh, also reminder that I have Kat now doing shorts for me from live streams. So if there's a little piece of a previous live stream or this one that you think would make a good short, you can yell at Kat, Dark and Stormy Nails, or at me, and just make the suggestion, and we'll see about getting it done. Um, Anything else? I think that's everything. So yeah, don't forget to press the buttons, do the things, and have a wonderful weekend. And enjoy my new goodbye screen that you're going to see right about now.